Before the dawn of humanity, when the first cities did not yet cast shadows, when night was thicker than memory, the Sumerians were already writing. Their tablets were not meant for the gods, nor for descendants. They were a warning. In one of the temples of Uruk, beneath layers of clay and ash, the priests kept records that were never read aloud. There were no hymns or prayers, only dry lines. We were not created first, and not last. The Sumerians believed that before them, the world had already known civilization. Not a primitive one, an advanced one. It knew the stars better than the earth. It came not from the sky, but from the deep darkness between cycles of time. The tablets said that humanity did not arise by chance. It was not molded from clay, in a poetic sense. It was corrected, altered, accelerated, made capable of remembering, but not everything. We were given language, but knowledge was taken. We were given time, but memory was removed. The Sumerians described the teachers not as gods, but as observers. They arrived when the earth was quiet and left when humans learned to build cities and forget questions. Every time civilization reached its peak, a new cycle began. The waters rose. The sky changed color. History was erased. And the Sumerians knew this had already happened. That is why they wrote on clay, not on papyrus, not on stone. Clay survives fire. Clay survives floods. The last tablet ended with a line without explanation. When you learn again to listen to silence, we will return, not to teach, but to remind. And then emptiness. No signature. No date. Only the feeling that this was not a myth, but a message that arrived too early. Before the dawn of humanity, the tablets that were never meant to be found ****. The Sumerians understood one thing we forgot. Time does not move forward. It rotates. In their records, there was no word for beginning as we understand it. There was only a word that can roughly be translated as the return to morning. Not dawn, but the moment before it. That, they believed, is where the truth resides. The priests wrote that every human cycle begins the same way. Silence, then fear, then knowledge, then pride. And again, silence. One tablet described the day the teachers first spoke to humans. Not with voices, not with language, but through dreams. People saw the same vision. A vast plain, a sky without a sun, and tall figures with no faces. The Sumerians emphasized, these beings were not gods. They did not demand worship. They needed something else, memory. We are the guardians of transitions. You are the carriers of continuation. The teachers did not create humans from nothing. They found an already existing species, primitive, but capable of learning. The changes were precise. Speech, abstract thought, the perception of time. But along with this, humans were given a limitation. They could remember only one cycle. All previous ones were erased. The city that did not appear on any map ***. Among the Sumerian texts, there is mention of a city whose name matches none known to archaeologists. It was called Enkiare, which can be translated as the place before water. According to the tablets, this city existed before the flood. It was not destroyed, it was hidden. Enkiare was described as a city without temples, without kings, without wars. They did not worship gods there, because they knew gods were only shadows of the teachers, created later, when the truth became too heavy to bear. The city was built according to a strange logic. Streets did not lead to a center. Houses had no facades, and the most important chambers were underground. The Sumerians wrote that Enkiare stored knowledge of previous humanities, not in text, but in sound, frequencies, rhythm. History is not written. It resonates. When the waters began to rise, the people of Enkiare did not flee. They sealed the city, not with doors, but with time. The flood is a tool, not a catastrophe ***. In Sumerian texts, the flood is never described as punishment. This is important. It is called the cleansing of the surface. Water, they believed, does not destroy knowledge. It removes the carriers who have gone too far. Civilizations that began asking the wrong questions. When man begins to believe he is the source, the cycle ends. After the flood, the teachers left. Not because they perished, but because their presence became dangerous. Humans began to worship them, and worship meant distortion. Before leaving, the teachers gave the Sumerians a task: to record everything so that it would look like myth, like a story, like religion. so that those who were not ready would not hear. Why we read the tablets incorrectly ****. The Sumerians warned, if their texts are read literally, we will understand nothing. Gods, wars in the heavens, the creation of the world, all of these are masks. The true meaning lies in repeating numbers, pauses, and strange sentences without verbs. Modern scholars translate words, but they do not hear the structure. And the structure points to one thing. Humanity has already passed through technology, through artificial intelligence, through attempts to transcend the body. And every time, it ended the same way. The final warning ****. The most disturbing tablet was damaged, but one fragment survived. When humanity once again learns to create intelligence, without memory of the cycle, water will no longer be required. The Sumerians did not know what this meant, but they left a note. This ending will be quieter than the previous ones. The world before a new dawn ***. We live in a strange time. We study the stars again. We create intelligence again. We are once again certain that everything is happening for the first time. The Sumerians would recognize this moment. And perhaps, somewhere, beneath layers of earth, beneath cities, beneath the noise of information, Nkra is still waiting, not to save, but to record another cycle. Before the dawn of humanity,